Hi, this is Stray Pastor. I'm recording this again for the second time because the first time, for some reason, didn't take. My review of episode 22, the season finale of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay, when we last left off, Coulson, Triplet, Sky, and May were down in Havana in the underground uh, headquarters of Hydra, and they had come to try to hack into their database to find out where they took the ship. Okay, but when you last left off, they were surrounded by these super soldiers. You know, the super soldiers. The what do you call that? I forgot. The centipede ones, soldiers. Anyway, basically, they tricked them into, and they actually make the house come down, but not before Sky gets the intel that they need, and they're off to the races. Okay, and they also, from the beginning of the episode, they show a guy walking with another guy to Cybertech, you know, telling him about, oh, you're another guy that wants to work here, and you want the exclusive pack, the incentive package, right? So we get a lot of that around here, which will come into play later in the episode. Okay, and then also we see that Fitz and Simmons are at the bottom of the ocean in that little compartment that Ward dropped them off into when he booted them off the ship. Okay, and basically Scott Simmons is waking up, and Fitz is explaining to her how, the compartment like adjusted itself for the water pressure, and now it's sealed, fully sealed, but they're hungry, and they're eventually going to run out of supplies, and eventually they're basically trapped there. They're going to run out of air, and so they're having a nice emotional moment, where Simmons kind of breaks down, and Fitz finally admits that he loves her. Well, he doesn't say that he loves, but it's implied, and they do the hug and thing, and Simmons kisses him a couple of and it's a really sweet scene. Okay, back now that they've officially hacked Sky has officially hacked into their database, so they know where they went. You see, Coulson says, "Listen, we haven't heard from Fitz or Simmons, so." And then, of course, Sky immediately thinks they're dead, but he said it doesn't matter. Well, Coulson said it matters, but he said, listen, they could be captured or anything, but the most important thing is we know where they are. We can go get them now. Okay, and at the same time, on the ship, you see on the bus, you see Garrett is revealing in his new power, and he's getting all metaphysical, saying how he can see things now more clearly and stuff. And of course, Raina is interested in that because she's all about evolution. I think they even have a conversation where she says she's all about evolution. What's the next step in mankind? So she's all about that. But Ward thinks Garrett is flipping out. Okay, and at the same time, you see Deathlock in the background. He's just like observing. He's not really saying much, but he's just sitting back observing things, looking weird. Okay, and now the plan is to go. Now that they know that Ward and Garrett and Deathlock and they're in Cybertech, they head out there, and there's a great scene where I forgot the businessman's name who got shot at Sky. He's there showing these army generals that you saw in the last episode. He's the new equipment at Cybertech, saying basically we can create new super soldiers for you. And the one general is saying, you got to show me. You can't stop talking, son. You got to show me. And then of course Garrett walks in with Ward, and basically he said, listen, we don't have to beg. And then of course this general says something smart to him, and where Garrett proceeds to puts his fist through the guy's stomach and rip out a rib, basically, and kills him. And of course, Ward is freaking out. He said, "Listen, I had to lock up 6 other people because the 7th guy got killed by Garrett. He's freaking nuts." And she's going, "No, he's not nuts. He can just see things more clearly now." And you said, just like Sky can see things more clearly now. And she kind of drops a hint to him about Sky, that Sky's the person that you want. Right? She kind of drops that hint to him, and then Garrett later tells him, "Listen, you always wanted me to tell you what to do. You want Sky? Go get her." Okay, now you see Coulson and Triplet. They hijack an armored, I think it's an armored Humvee, and they punch a hole in the side of Cybertech where May and Sky can get in, and they get in and they get in and take over, and Sky is is basically, I think she's hacking, so she's looking for something, but you don't quite know what she's looking for. Okay, and then at the same time, they flash back to Simmons, Fitz and Simmons, and they figure out a way to basically blast the door out, the window out, and basically, but they only have one little air filter thing. Okay, and of course Simmons and Fitz and Simmons take it. Of course, she insists that he take it, but in the end, he tells her, "Listen, you're a better swimmer than me, and I have faith in you." And so they blow out the hatch. Of course, the water comes rushing in, and she has the air thing in, and she's grabbing, pulling Fitz along with her, and they make it to the top. And of course, and then who's there to greet them? Nick Fury, special guest Nick Fury. Which if they want to keep that a secret, they should stop saying special guest Sam Jackson, because then he's going to be in the episode. But he's there, and he's basically saying that the beacon they sent out, because you've seen early in the episode, they said that they sent a beacon out, but they said, but there's no shield anymore, so they think nothing of it. But later, of course, Nick Fury responds to that beacon, and he rescues them, and he puts Simmons in the hyperbolic chamber, and he tells her that, listen, Fitz is okay, his heart is beating, but he was out without air for a substantial period of time, so it's touch and go with him. Okay, meanwhile, Ward is on his way to Cybertech, and he's there, and he pulls a gun on Sky, and he basically starts walking towards her, and she's basically giving him the bad mouth. And he said, "Oh yeah, by the way, there's somebody else that wants to speak to you." She's kind of pissed at you, and then you see May comes out, and basically they have a drag out fight, which is absolutely beautiful. A nice drag out fight, which is kicking each other and back and forth, and it's really, really good. A nice, great fight, physical fight. And then, of course, she does a great move where she takes a nail gun. Well, they're bad mouthing each other back and forth, and then she takes a nail gun. My favorite part, she takes a nail gun and just nails his feet, so he can't move. And then it looks like he begs for a minute. He goes, "Listen, man," and she ain't having it, and she just proceeds to knock the crap out and knock him out. Okay, which is great. And then of course, Coulson's after Garrett, and he approaches him down, and he hits him. But of course, Garrett is juiced up on the alien juice, and he backhands Coulson all the way up to another level. And then you see Nick Fury comes along, and him and Coulson have little words while they're hiding from Garrett, and then they come down and they start jawing back and forth. And there's a funny bit where Nick Fury basically tells him, "You misinterpreted my word." I forgot the exact phrase he said, but you misinterpreted my word. If this is what this Hydra thing was all about, because you misinterpreted my words, I'm sorry. And then basically Nick Fury hands him a gigantic gun, which Coulson's giant gun, which he shoots the Centipede soldiers with, and knocks the 6 of them out. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, early in the episode, when May and Sky broke into Cybertech, they managed to hack. Sky managed to hack into the thing that was controlling the cyber soldiers, and made them all go to Garrett to protect them. She set it to the default setting, and they went to protect Garrett. So that anyway, they get knocked out, and of course then it's just Garrett and Deathlock, and you see what Sky, who was looking for something earlier, you're looking for, and then you see her with one of the Cybertech guys that she has tied up, and then looking for the incentives. And then she opens up a bunch of doors, and then you see that one guy rushes it, and that's his wife. And then you see her open up a bunch of other doors, and then she sees Mike's kid. And basically, she's the guy said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I can't, stop the Centipede soldiers. I can't." He said, "I can't override Deathlock's command." And she said, "Listen, you don't need to do it." And she has like the smartphone. She said, "I've been recording this all along, and Deathlock's been seeing what I've been seeing." And then she said, "I just got to make him believe that I have a son." And then I think what the phrase was, he said, she said, "What, has a son type? What Mike Peterson used to always say to his son, what are we together?" And the son types a team, okay? And so that way, Deathlock knows that his son is safe. And then he proceeds to kick the crap out of Garrett, and then he even basically stomps him out, okay? And that's how it goes. So now, Hydra, Garrett is defeated. Ward, and basically Coulson tells Ward, "Listen, we're going to have fun basically interrogating the crap out of you," okay? And takes Ward off. So I think Ward will be back next year. But, in a lesser role. You know, he'll probably pop up from time to time because I think Triplet's now a permanent part of this S.H.I.E.L.D. team. Okay, and basically, oh yeah, I forgot. There's a part that's funny when it comes back from commercial after Jeff Lockett stomped out Garrett, and you see Mike Peterson's son, I think reuniting with his aunt, and you see Sky with Deathlock, and she said, "Why don't you just go to him?" And he says, "No, well, I have to, you know, I don't want him to see me now." He said, I have to make up for what I did now." And she said, "Well, Coulson told me I'm supposed to bring you in." He said, "Listen, you can monitor me with the camera eye thing that he has in him. I'm going to try to make up for all the bad things that I did." And then he kind of saunters off. And then later, you see a funny scene. You see Garrett get up. You know, he's all beat up, and he crawls into that machine that the businessman was showing the military guys, and he gets in it, and it kind of latches onto him and gives him more Deathlock armor on top of him. And then he stands up and says, "What was that saying about cutting off the head?" And then all of a sudden, you see something blast him, and he like splatters into a million pieces. And then you see Coulson goes, "Yeah, there's that thing. I was always wondering where that was." And then you see him walk off, and I thought that was hilarious. And then you see May, Fury, and Coulson together. And basically, he says, "I want you, Coulson, to restart S.H.I.E.L.D. You're going to be the new director." And he gives him this like toolbox thing, and which is cool. And then you see they're reunited with Simmons, and you know, and they said tell her that, you know, that Fitz is still alive, and he's just, you know, down for the count for the moment. And it's supposed to be a new area that it's supposed to be in. And you see Patton Oswalt's character, who Ward murdered, but actually this is a different character. I think this character is supposed to be I don't know if it's supposed to be like not a cyborg, but maybe a robot or something, whatever it is. And he basically, you know, says, "Nice to meet you, Coulson," and stuff, and here's your lacquered, and all the other people will get lacquered too, basically acting like the other Patton Oswalt character again. So now the S.H.I.E.L.D. has a new base, okay, and it's, like I said, now it's Triplets on the team, and you don't know how badly damaged Fitz is, because, you know, he's without oxygen for a little bit, okay. And now you see, after all that, you see Raina, who we kind of lost track of. You see her in she goes into a room, and she sees some guy that's sitting down, like looks like he's doing yoga or something. And she said, and she shows him a picture of Sky. She said, "I found your daughter." Da da da. Okay, and then when it comes back from commercial, you get one last scene. You see Coulson's like sleeping, and he gets up. Now, early in the episode, there was a point where Garrett got up, you know, after he had got the GHG, and he was like drawing all these. When he was talking about metaphysical, he was drawing all these alien symbols on a wall and stuff, and he didn't know what that was. I still think I think the alien juice that they got, and the alien they showed before in the earlier is a Kree. So that's my personal opinion of it. And anyway, you see Coulson get up, and then he starts drawing the same symbols too, like a whole wall full of symbols. So of course he's being affected by that, and that's why I think Sky is a Kree, and I guess that alien is a Kree too, who's looking for her, who was supposed to be his daughter, and that's how it ends. So this was a good season. I have to give it, and this was a good episode too. Like, the war got the crap beat out of him by May. May took out her aggression on him, which was great, and she beat the living crap out of him. And I love that part where she nailed him with the gun, and he says, tried to say wait, and she just proceeds to beat the crap out of him until she knocks him out. And I like the part where Fitz finally admits to Simmons that, you know, that he loves her without saying "I love you," but he says it, you know, that he loves her, so she knows that he loves her. Okay, and then that was a nice sweet moment. And Coulson got his revenge against Garrett and stuff, and that was great. And now S.H.I.E.L.D's going to be, so I'm anxious to see what they're going to do in the second season. You know, now that kind of Garrett has been defeated, so what other challenges they're going to have? I guess they're still going to have that Sky. Is a thing. I don't know how long they're going to drag that out, but just, you know, get it over with. The Sky is a Kree. Okay, that's what she's an alien. Okay, that's what. Anyway, let me know what you think of my review. What you think of, like I said, the best thing to happen to S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is Captain America: Winter Soldier. Okay, that kind of turned the whole season around. Okay, so that's why I think they got renewed. I think the ratings went up and the writing got better just because of the incidents in Captain America: Winter Soldier. Directly allowed them to change things in the show, which made it be that much better. Anyway, let me know what you think. feel free to leave comments down below. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.